Bryan Freedman, a prominent attorney representing actor-director Justin Baldoni, has publicly criticized Blake Lively's legal maneuvers in a dispute that involves multiple Hollywood figures. According to Freedman, Lively is seeking to dismiss herself from a case where Baldoni's team accuses her of overstepping her bounds and orchestrating negative PR campaigns. The conflict centers around a film project that Lively joined, during which she allegedly gained excessive control, bullied her way through production, and manipulated the story presented to the media. Freedman has highlighted how Lively is not operating alone. She has a network of PR professionals, most notably Lizzie Sloan, who are alleged to have worked directly with various media outlets to tarnish Baldoni's reputation. Additionally, Freedman indicates that Ryan Reynolds, Lively's husband and a major Hollywood star, could face legal scrutiny as well. The lawsuit's origins, then, are deeply entangled in questions of power, public image, and what Freedman calls the abuse of the legal system in Hollywood. A primary theme in Freedman's statements is that Lively is abusing the legal system. In his view, celebrities of Lively's stature sometimes exploit their resources, be it legal teams or media influence, to steer the outcome in their favor. Freedman accuses Lively's side of twisting laws intended to protect individuals from defamation or harassment, repurposing these same protections to muzzle or intimidate opponents. Pointing to how rapidly the story has moved from behind-the-scenes wrangling to public mudslinging, Freedman believes Lively's motion to dismiss is nothing more than a calculated strategy. By claiming innocence and distancing herself from the conflict, she avoids the systematic unveiling of evidence through depositions and discovery. Freedman's message to the public is that the legal process is being skewed by a privileged star who wants to shut down any thorough investigation before it can truly begin. A significant portion of Freedman's criticism revolves around the claim that Lively's publicist, Lizzie Sloan, planted negative stories about Justin Baldoni. The transcript references thousands of text messages supposedly exchanged among Lively's team, the New York Times, and other outlets, which Freedman believes were selectively edited to distort Baldoni's intentions. While these communications could paint a nuanced, collaborative picture of two parties trying to work together, Freedman insists that only the most damaging segments were published, giving the impression that Baldoni was maliciously targeting Lively. In Freedman's narrative, the real story is that Baldoni was focused on protecting the film's integrity, his own reputation, and even Lively herself from rumors he considered false. Instead, Freedman says Lively used her PR power to make Baldoni seem hostile. The invocation of the New York Times appears repeatedly, suggesting there was an orchestrated effort to leak unfavorable text messages and overshadow any context that could exonerate Baldoni. One of Freedman's more striking claims involves the removal or omission of emojis from the shared text messages. Emojis that might have lightened the tone of certain conversations or indicated humor and sarcasm. He points out that the absence of these details can drastically change how a conversation is perceived in legal or public eyes. If someone is joking or using self-deprecating humor, an emoji can communicate a playful intent. Removing it, Freedman says, makes the exchange look harsh or threatening. Further, Freedman accuses Lively's camp of cutting out entire threads of conversation that would have clarified Baldoni's intentions. For instance, a humorous remark about scheduling or an over-the-top sarcastic line might, out of context, be interpreted as bullying or threatening. Freedman underscores that such cherry-picking is central to portraying Baldoni as a villain and Lively as his victim. The dispute thus extends beyond typical legal bickering. It becomes a public relations and narrative fight over who can shape the story more convincingly. Freedman repeatedly suggests that Lively is leveraging her star power to force a rapid settlement instead of letting the case proceed to a full trial. In his view, a drawn-out legal battle would risk exposing the true story, namely that Baldoni never engaged in any underhanded tactics. Hollywood celebrities, Freedman argues, hate uncertainty, especially the kind that comes with protracted litigation. Reputation management can be critical for an A-lister, and if Lively worries about unflattering revelations, she may push to settle before discovery forces all parties to show their cards. In Hollywood, Freedman points out, the settlement route often isn't about guilt or innocence. Rather, it's a method to make problems disappear. A star like Lively might consider even the hint of negative publicity harmful to her brand, so orchestrating a swift resolution, potentially with gag orders or confidential agreements, preserves her image. Freedman sees her legal motions as part of this bigger strategic move to avoid damaging press coverage. A curious layer in this conflict emerges in references to an online resource or website that Baldoni allegedly set up to showcase his correspondence with Lively. Freedman points to these texts, disclaimers, and conversations to demonstrate that the relationship between Baldoni and Lively was more collaborative and, at times, light-hearted than Lively's official complaint suggests. One excerpt shows Lively proposing to either send him revised lines or read through them when they meet, followed by a friendly sign-off. Baldoni responds with emojis expressing sadness over his family's temporary departure, reflecting a personal rapport rather than hostile tension. Freedman's argument is that these kinds of communications, when read in full, disprove the notion that Baldoni was lying in wait to smear Lively. Instead, Freedman claims, they indicate normal creative or personal exchanges that, once dissected and partially redacted, were taken out of context to build a harassment narrative. The existence of such a website underscores that Baldoni and Freedman want the entire unfiltered story public, in hopes it will exonerate him. In contrast to Freedman's presentation, Lively's complaint casts her as the aggrieved party. She contends she was a bigger star, married to Ryan Reynolds, one of Hollywood's most recognizable leading men, and that, upon joining Baldoni's project, she encountered harassment and mistreatment. According to Lively, Baldoni addressed her concerns only superficially. She further alleges that after the film's release, he and his PR allies launched a targeted wave of negative press coverage, making it seem like the public naturally turned on her. Lively's angle is that Baldoni's team orchestrated a smear campaign to undercut her credibility if she spoke out about difficulties during production. Freedman rejects this characterization, dismissing it as part of a manufactured storyline. Still, from Lively's point of view, Freedman's portrayal is a distraction from what she perceives as genuine grievances. She maintains that the coverage surrounding the film's debut was not organic. It was an attack orchestrated to punish her for demanding fair treatment. Conversely, Baldoni does not wield as much public influence. Even if he's determined to present a fully transparent narrative, Freedman concedes that a legal showdown against a massive Hollywood machine, complete with top-tier publicists, managers, and media connections, becomes a steep, uphill battle. That's why Freedman accuses Lively of pulling a Hollywood power move, framing the outcome before Baldoni's side can present all the evidence in open court. In Hollywood, Freedman reminds viewers, it's not always a matter of who is right or wrong. It's about who has the power to shape the final outcome. Celebrities often use settlements to control narratives and minimize risk. While Freedman wants the story aired, Lively may want to contain it. Thus, the legal drama morphs into a question of leverage. Which side blinks first? Freedman implies that if Lively loses key motions to dismiss, she will fold to protect her interests. If Freedman finds the cost of litigating too high, or if Baldoni prefers to cut losses, they might agree to a sealed settlement. Either way, Freedman's disclosure suggests the real battle is over who dictates the ultimate narrative, a hallmark of disputes in the entertainment industry.